Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm who you're going to be seeing today. Before we begin, I just want to note that I'm a mandated reporter, so that means that everything that we say in here is going to be confidential, either whatever you say to me orally or whatever I write about this session, that's confidential unless I believe there's a threat that you would hurt yourself or you're going to hurt others, then I have to report it. Is it okay if I take notes during this session?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that brings you in today?
I've just been feeling really stressed and overwhelmed with what's going on in my life right now, and I'm just trying to let it out to maybe help that situation and just like figure out what really are my problems and like what I can focus on.
Okay. If you had to list what's causing you stress, what aspects of your life right now would you say are contributing to that?
Definitely school for sure. Having a job, finding a schedule, finding time for myself, finding time for my family, and then like my sister's getting married, so like that just adds on to it.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're feeling very overwhelmed because you're being pulled in many different directions.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Let's start with school. On the aspect of school, what's making you feel stressed?
Definitely being a junior and like getting to that like graduation point and like focusing on that.
Right.
And then my sister midterms week and like my sister's wedding falling on midterms week, so I'm missing all of school, like a week of school, which then stresses me out because I gotta get my work done before, so then I can like focus on my sister during her wedding week. But then it's a lot of big assignments and like just like communicating with my teachers so that they're aware of what's going on.
Okay, so I'm hearing midterms and big assignments falling on the week of your sister's wedding is causing you to feel very stressed.
For sure, because then I'm in the position that it's like my sister's getting married, and like that's really big to me because that's my sister's my best friend, and then school. Like, what do you put first?
Okay. With your sister's wedding, is that also contributing to the stress in any other ways?
For sure. Being her maid of honor, like that's a lot of work for me, and like I have to be there for her, you know, help her pick out her dress, make sure everything's well with her, and then I have to focus on the bridesmaids, make sure they have everything they need, and I had to like take that role of like picking out her dresses, picking out her shoes, make sure everyone has everything, you know, just making sure that like we're all on the same page.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're feeling right now of overwhelmment and stress is because of, well, with the factor of school and your sister's wedding, there's a struggle of balance, and then on top of it, you're having responsibilities also with her wedding that are causing you stress.
Yes.
Okay. So with those responsibilities, what makes you feel as though, or the role of maid of honor, is that a big contributor, you would say?
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting to be in this position, especially like because I'm younger, so like a lot of her friends planned a lot of her bachelorette stuff, but then like last minute it was like, oh, like I want you to be my maid of honor, and then just like feeling like I have to be very involved with her and like make sure everything she has going on is figured out, and like even her fiance was stressing with me about like figuring out their song playlist, and like because we had to submit like what their playlist was gonna be during the wedding, and then like helping my sister like pick what part of the resort she wants to get married on, and then when there was problems with that, then I needed to re-help her. Just a lot of like little things that like you wouldn't expect a maid of honor would be a part of. At least I didn't. But then like my sister was like, I need your help, like urgently.
Okay, so yeah, the responsibilities involved in maid of honor, I'm hearing, is causing you to be overwhelmed as well, on top of having to figure out a schedule with your midterm assignments and balancing that week.
Yeah, because because then I'm stuck where I'm like, my sister wants to spend a lot of time with me, obviously. I would want to do that too, but then it's like I'm still in school, I still have classes, I got work to do. I just don't want to be spending like my whole day during schoolwork, so I'm like, trying to get it done early. Then I have procrastination, so that it's hard for me to do that. And like, I plan everything out in my head, like when I'm going to do it, and then I don't do it.
What do you think causes you to procrastinate?
Definitely because I've always have. I feel a lot of like, I always think like getting it done, like breaking things down to do them will like help me. But then I also have a lot of success when I sit down in one sitting, like the day of it being due, I'm like just getting it done. Because like when I break it down, I'm like, you're gonna do it. Let's do this small portion, and then I get bored or I get distracted. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else.
Okay. So the success of busting it all out in one session is that that's what I'm hearing is contributing to you procrastinating.
Yes, for sure.
You mentioned work also with causing you to feel overwhelmed right now. What about work would you say is causing that?
Definitely fitting work into my schedule too is hard. Because when my sister calls me last minute and is like, I need you to come home and help me with that, it's like, I can't, I have work, and then I have to, try to find other people to take my shifts, or like other people ask me to help them take their shifts. Like, I want to be nice and I want to be helpful, but like, I need to focus on myself and I don't have the time for that. So it's definitely just like the balance of work and like knowing like when I'm like, oh, I'll get it done, or like, I'm going to sit down and do this all at once, oh no, you have work. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely just like finding like time to just focus when I'm at work and time to just focus when I'm not at work on my schoolwork.
Okay, so yeah, I'm hearing finding the balance of work, fitting it in different aspects of your life is causing you to feel stressed right now.
Yes, for sure.
You also mentioned helping others when you were describing that. Do you feel like you might put others over your own needs when you do stuff like that, or?
Definitely. I think a lot of times I think about it in my head and I'm like, well, if I help them out this time, they're going to help me out when I need it, which isn't always true, which then also screws me over. But definitely just like to be helpful for other people. So, and like that's one thing characteristic about me that has always been so strong, but it like sucks because I don't put myself first. I'm putting other people first.
You describe that as a characteristic of your personality and your being. What do you think might cause you to be so helpful and wanting to fix things?
I don't know. I think it's just how I've been raised and how I've just put myself out there. Like I've always wanted to put everyone first and like make sure everyone else has everything figured out in their lives, and then like I'll focus on mine, because a lot of times other things that are going on in other people's lives are a lot bigger than what's in my life. So I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? And like I'm not worrying about like myself.
Okay. We've also in our discussion discussed how with school your sister's wedding was causing you stress, and then in other elements too. Is there anything else about your sister's wedding that is causing you to feel or contributing to your stress right now?
Just like my parents are divorced, and now we're about to all be on a trip together for a whole week. So I'm just like focused on like my mom enjoying herself and like not being focused on my dad. But like, I'm not worried about my dad. That man's gonna have the time of his life by himself, and I know he will. And he isn't bothered by my mom's presence, and he's like, hey, like, how are you doing? Acknowledges her, whereas my mom is like, I don't care that you're here, and I want to act like you don't exist. So then it's kind of like that balance, and then like now, because nobody's gonna want to stress my sister out during her wedding, I'm gonna be put in the middle, and I'm gonna have to be like, spend time with my mom, spend time with my dad, spend time with my sister,
Okay, so besides the maid of honor role, I'm hearing that the family dynamic that you guys have is causing you stress about that.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Why do you think you feel as though concerned about the amount of time that you're spending with them?
I mean, just being a child of your parents, like you don't want to think that you like one more than the other. So like I like will want them to both feel loved and like both feel like they had time with their daughters like on this trip. So like I just think, you know, making them both feel like they are important to me and my sister.
Okay. When you say that you don't want one of your parents to feel as though you like them more than the other, what makes you think that?
I just think it's like kind of like a stigma with divorced parents, like at least like when people are younger, like and especially with like custody battles, like it ends up being like you pick one's parent over the other for whatever reasons, and just like being grown, I guess I've realized that like honestly it's healthier for me, my family, my siblings, my parents, for them to be divorced, and we all acknowledge that. And so now it's like at the point where it's like my mom is at home in Cincinnati and I see her all the time, whereas my dad lives in DC and I never see him. So like I want to spend that extra time with my dad when I have it, but like I don't want to feel like I'm neglecting my mom.
Okay. When you mention your parents' divorce, how do you think that has affected you?
It caused me a lot of trauma, but I've dealt with it, and I think it was worse when they were together than them being divorced. It's just healthier for everyone.
Okay. So overall, I'm hearing there's a feeling of trying to get balance in all of these aspects, and it's causing you stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our time is about finished for our session today. Do you think you got to discuss everything you wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to arrange to meet again to discuss this further?
For sure.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.